Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom nestled between shadowed mountains, there lived a cruel and vengeful woman named Gwendolyn. She was a woman of cold beauty, with pale skin that never seemed to catch the warmth of the sun and eyes that glinted with a coldness that made even the bravest knights wary. She had married a widowed king, taking him as her own for his wealth and power, not for love. With him, she became stepmother to a sweet, kind-hearted girl named Ilara. Ilara's beauty was unlike any other, with golden hair that flowed like sunlight and eyes as blue as the clear skies. But it was her kindness, her gentle spirit, that caught the attention of all who met her, and especially of her stepmother, Gwendolyn. From the very first day of their union, Gwendolyn saw Ilara as a threat. She was not merely jealous of her stepdaughter's beauty, she feared that Ilara's innocence and charm would steal the love of the king, leaving Gwendolyn with nothing but a cold crown. As the years passed, Gwendolyn's heart grew darker. Her jealousy twisted into hatred. She would send Ilara on impossible errands, hoping the girl would fail and suffer for it. When Ilara succeeded, as she always did, Gwendolyn grew more bitter, finding new ways to torment her. One day, the king left the kingdom to visit distant lands, and Gwendolyn saw her chance. She told Ilara that the kingdom was in need of a rare flower that bloomed only in the deepest part of the forest, a place known to be cursed. The king had forbidden anyone from entering that dark, eerie forest, for the creatures within were said to be fierce and the paths treacherous. But Gwendolyn, with her honeyed voice, convinced Ilara that she was the only one brave enough to find it. "You must do this, my dear," Gwendolyn said, her smile cold and cruel. "It's for the kingdom's good. Only you can help." Ilara, trusting her stepmother, set out with nothing but a simple satchel and her courage. She ventured into the woods, feeling a shiver run down her spine as the trees grew taller and the light dimmed. The deeper she went, the more unsettling the atmosphere became, but she pressed on, determined to do what was asked of her. Unbeknownst to Ilara, Gwendolyn had planned it all. She had known the path was dangerous, that the flower was but a myth. She had wanted Ilara to fail, to perish in the forest, so that her own heart could be freed of the constant threat that Ilara posed to her. Days passed, and Gwendolyn waited for news of the girl's failure. When she heard no word, her satisfaction grew. She had no intention of searching for the girl, for she knew Ilara's fate was sealed. But weeks later, to her surprise, Ilara returned. She was weary, her clothes torn, her face pale, but her spirit unbroken. She held in her hands a single white blossom, delicate and radiant. The flower she had braved the forest for was real after all. With the flower in her grasp, Ilara entered the castle, her heart full of hope. But Gwendolyn, upon seeing her stepdaughter, was enraged. How could Ilara survive? How could she thwart her plans once again? That night, as the castle slept, Gwendolyn devised a final, desperate plan. She approached Ilara in her sleep, a vial of poison hidden in her palm. The poison was a rare substance, odorless and tasteless, and it could bring death without a trace. With a heart as cold as stone, Gwendolyn poured the poison into Ilara's drink, watching as the girl unknowingly took the sip that would seal her fate. The next morning, Ilara awoke with a terrible ache in her chest. Her skin turned ashen, and her breath came in shallow gasps. By the time the sun reached its zenith, Ilara was dead, her body lying cold and still in her bed. When the king returned, he found his daughter gone, and though Gwendolyn wept and wailed in feigned sorrow, the king knew deep down that something was amiss. He found the vial hidden away in Gwendolyn's chambers, and his heart sank with the dreadful realization. His beloved daughter had been murdered, but by then Gwendolyn's power had already grown too strong. With Ilara's death, she had seized complete control of the kingdom. The king was too weak to do anything about it, his grief consuming him, and so the wicked stepmother reigned alone, her hands stained with the blood of innocence. And so, the kingdom fell into darkness, ruled by a heartless queen, and the memory of the sweet, kind Ilara faded into the whispers of the wind, carried through the land as a tragic tale of betrayal and lost hope.